Good day to you. Martin Kagan from Before Your Eyes in Data Cocoon. We're going to be looking at live streaming data for the first time through the system. It's quite exciting. Just finished off this project and I want to share it with you. So we'll go straight into it. The system is made up of 6 concentric pages and some sub-pages within that. I know 1 through 5 and some others. But the center is made up as follows. We have 2 regional centers, then the provinces, then the districts, then the zone, then the call center itself, and then the teams. Within that, we start the system. We just press start, and the system is calibrated. As you already know, we've spoken about this previously. For those of you who had some communication with me on the subject, we changed the statistical nature of how we look at the data. It's numbered 1 through 10, which is recalibrated -5 to +5, giving us 0 as the automatic mean, and then the standard deviations flow from that. You can see the calls are being generated randomly. In this case, positives and negatives are coming in, and for our purposes, are we going to increase the speed to ultra fast, and we're going to, as you can see, it's counting how many calls are coming in, being handled and processed. And now we're going to go a little bit negative. We're going to burst, and our purpose is to get to about 1,600. And we are going to go positive for a little bit. We're almost there. And let's assume that with that we're virtually there and we're good. And now we're looking at the data. And our purpose is to drill into this data and see a couple interesting anomalies and features of the system itself. For that, we go to a prepared system, 1,600 lines of incoming lines and communications, and we can drill down at any one of them. Let's choose one of these extremes. There's a number. You can recognize that number. We double click. We come down to another page, which is page 2, which has got 3 main sections. This is the analysis of what we've just looked at. So in this term now, we're not looking at calls, we're looking at the satisfaction rate of the call. So relative to agent 37, we are looking at response time, overall satisfaction, some key metrics. And that's what determines the score rating, which determines how that person is performing, essentially. So we look at the same information from a different dimension. This is 2-dimensional, and here's excellent, you can see normal, and you can see somebody that's in training relative to the situation. And all this will be interactive to the panel on the right hand side, which is the inspector column, which will give us all the relevant data. Or we can switch to the third option, which is this one over here. This is an optional plate, and here we have got the clear view of positive and negative and in between, and we can click on any one of these and get a position. And you'll see that the 43 is the one that we just clicked on, and there's the performance of that team member. We're actually able to change the team members and look at them on the fly and actually see the top performers within that. That being said, we go back to the dimensional view of it, the 3-dimensional view of this, and we're going to go all the way back to the main page to get our bearing. We're still looking at all the calls coming in. You can see that there were 2 different types of 3-dimensional representations. And we had done page 2. Page 3 is the analytical side. We switch to analytics. 17 excellent calls to be commended upon, 22 odd normals. The data is changing as I click. You can see it there. And 11 bad scenarios. And the sample was several calls taken over the time period, and that gave us that position. We go back again. In this case we went forward, I apologize, and we go to page 4. which is where I want it to be. 4 is the payment cycle. So, for every single individual, they are given a stipend, an artificial stipend, and they earn points, which are like tokens, which you can set the rating for because you want to incentivize the people that are performing well, perhaps. And you don't want to punish, but you want to keep track of the calls that have gone south and those people non-performing. So green is performance, red is obviously non-performance scenarios, and we can choose easily between any single agent and get the history of the agent, his total scores. VTK stands for virtual time machine, K stands for central bank. And we are able to see all the agents and their payments. I've set the stipend at 100, but you could set it to any figure. It's flexible. So is the rate per token and the incentive, and that will change how much the person is going to get as a bonus, so to speak. The ones that are negative aren't going to get a bonus. It's just they're just going to be told, well, they didn't cut the grade, and you know what that means. The ones that are the worst performers are either going to be corrected in their methodology of handling the call, or alternatively you can prove that they're not performing according to your satisfaction, and they may be subject to reprimand or termination, or however that goes in your organization. We then go back and we choose the last sheet, sheet 5, with the visual statistical analysis. Everything is tool-tipped, so it's easy to achieve and see what's going on. And we can have a look at positives, negatives. We'll go back to where we were. Now, the interesting thing is, we go back and we go to page 2, where we were having this discussion. We export the data, and we're going to now import this data. So if I export it, it asks me a question. There it is. It's just exported it. I know that it's there, so I say thank you. I now go to a live system, which will be the system that I'd suggest you utilize. This is the full-blown system with everything built in, and we load that data, and if I'm not mistaken, there's the file I just brought in, and the file that we want to view for the purpose of our discussion is this one over here. Comes in directly, and now we can see it in the rows format. There's the agent pool, and we can see needs training, all agents, and here we can get an indication of courtesy, and this gives us a strong granularity function and feature than what we had before. So there's a lot of features, to say the very least, and we're able to take that and drill it down in the main system and see exactly what we're talking about. We'll just release that. So whether we're looking at the data in terms of the visualization within the 3D spatial context of the actual system, or alternatively, if we're looking at within this dedicated call center system over here, we get a flurry of information, and it all comes back to the ability to visualize it from the standpoint of -5 to +5. That ratio can go -2 to +2. I've just chosen the -5 to give us a better texture of the data. Thank you ever so much for watching. If there's any questions that I can answer, I'd be happy to do so. Thank you so much, Martin Kagan.